All right, everybody, away we go. Welcome to today's call. It is Friday, February 16th of 2018, and this is the TRC sales training call. And I'm looking forward to this one here. If you're going to watch the replay on Facebook or you're joining me live on Facebook, one of the things I want to mention is that this week was a very interesting week at the mastermind level, and in particular where we talked a lot about really focusing on the money in the business, not just transactions. This is not just a transactional business first. In fact, it's not that at all for you. It's money first. If you don't make enough money, that's a problem. So one of the things I implore you all as salespeople to do is get into MLS with your broker, if you're not the broker, and get the statistics for 2017. Who sold what and how many of them? And I would look at really that area that you're really focused in. Don't try to go too far. Don't go too thin. Make sure you get enough statistics so that you see what the average agent is doing, first of all. Because, again, for most of you that are in this group, if not, you better be all of you, right? For all of you that are in this group, I think what it's important to see first is what is average in this business? What do we really know about this business? And I think you'll be shocked that it's really low. So, for example, on Cape Cod in the MLS here, the average agent only did 3 sides. And that was about $1.5 million worth of production. And so, again, there's nothing wrong with that if that's a part-time effort for somebody or whatever their situation is. But for most of you, that's a true part-time job. And so I think what we need to do is we need to make sure that we are setting the goal at least to make sure that we are hitting the average sale price. I think that's the big takeaway from there, is that the average sale price is key. So for on Cape Cod, it's about 506. So it's not about, it's 506 to be exact. And that helps me train my agents on how to not shoot lower than that. It's very easy to get caught up in, well, I need cash flow and this is what I do. But I think if you just get in there and you really think about, hey, why can't I just be average, at least when it comes to the sales, you're going to start off better, or you're going to revamp your business better, whatever it might be. So I want to make that very clear to all of you early and often here today that this is something that we need to do. All right, so I had a couple of people here that I wanted to get in here. Anita, I'm going to check to see if her team is in here, so that I'm pretty sure she is. We're going to talk today about following up on internet leads. And my caveat to this one is that it's going to be a lot about follow-up here and the techniques and the discipline. As much as what to say, it's what to do as a business owner, okay? So let me open up the lines here. Anita, do we have you and the crew sitting there ready to go? All right, awesome. Yep. So Anita, why don't you set this? Hi, gang. Why don't you set the stage for us first? And tell us a little bit more about what you as the team leader, what are you trying to achieve here so that your team knows where you and I are trying to take them?
All right. So as you know, I have 2 new gals on my team who's sitting here with me today. One is Sue and one is Susanna. And I have Harleen, who took a little break for 6 months, went and worked at a bank, hated every moment, and came right back. So I'm really excited.
That's it.
So I plan on starting my online flow of buyer leads with Ylopo, the company I've used prior.
Yes.
I stopped it last year because I was overwhelmed and I was revamping the entire team.
Sure.
So we're ready to roll with some good solid leads. They're doing Facebook marketing, redirecting, all that fun stuff.
Okay.
And what I want is probably just, for the team to get comfortable with these leads.
Okay.
Because we have the ability to call, text, and email them.
Yep.
And my segue into these conversations is, hi, Danny, this is Anita calling from Keller Williams. The reason I was calling is, and go right into the conversation.
Yeah. Well, what's your concern for them? What challenges? Let's come at it a little bit differently, because rather than just go right down what we think they should say, right. I'd love us to say, what do we think, or more importantly, you and I at this point in time, we know that there are a lot of challenges that repeat themselves. What do you think those will be?
Well, they've just started week 1 today, so I'm going to ask them, do you guys have any concerns or challenges you anticipate with these leads?
Yeah, or what's your fear?
Protection.
Yeah, there you go. Good. Let's get it.
Protection.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah, I think it's feeling because I'm already, I have another job that I'm in sales, and it's a lot about rejection. Like you reach out and you're turned down, and then it's like how to not let that affect you, but just take it and keep going, and not let it bog you down, and feel like you can't overcome these rejections.
Okay, well let's dig up under who's that speaking, by the way, so I can have context here. Oops, who was that?
Susanna.
Okay. Hi, Susanna. Sorry, you broke up when you said your name. So, Susanna, it's a problem for even top producers to have to get that energy up and get excited about getting on that phone and really trying to make something happen here, right? I mean, I think we all fear that, right? Nobody wants to be rejected. That's painful. But let's talk about, why do we believe as salespeople there will be rejection? Why do we believe that? Tell me what you would get rejected about. Let's be specific, because I was talking to my daughter this week, and I was talking about how our emotions so easily creep in and they steal our logic. And that's fine. Emotions are what make us special and interesting people, right? But we want to just talk about what is it about us that we can't see the logic in the moment. So tell me, logically speaking, what could go wrong? Why would they reject you in a very black and white way? You say this, I reject you for that. What does that mean to you? Give that some words.
Well, I mean, I don't know. You have it in because I feel like nowadays everyone is bogged down by calls and emails and texts. So you feel like all of a sudden, you're calling them and they're like, oh, I don't want to be bothered. And it's that whole rejection thing. I get it a lot, actually, because I'm in sales. I'm a business manager also with a skincare line.
Yes.
So, they reach out for, promotions and things like that. But then when you turn around and say, hey, I have this going on. Oh, I can't take your call right now. I don't want to be bothered. And they hang up. So it's like you have that anxiety of like, oh, I'm going to be turned down again.
Okay. So that's good. And I wanted to highlight one thing. I was listening as closely as I could. I feel that. That was something that just came out of your mouth. And that's what I'm trying to do, is make us aware of how we think, we then speak, and then we act. We follow. It's all to do with that self-image, even in that moment of time. I don't mean globally the self-image. That's a much more complicated discussion at a deeper level, but it does, quite frankly, affect us. But these experiences of the digital age where we are indeed oversold, where we are indeed bogged down, right? Do you feel like that each day? Do you get bogged down? Do you get a lot of phone calls? Do you get oversold? Those would be the questions I would ask you next.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, good. Well, so very obviously, you're being conditioned by what you feel when that happens to you. It's just, that's the way humans work. We get conditioned by our experiences. So you're being conditioned into say, this person is a pain in my tail and they are interrupting me. Fair enough? I'm just stating the obvious.
Fair enough.
Okay, so now,
Yeah, I agree.
Now, why are those people to you? Take it back to your own experience, because you're seeing the world of sales through that lens of you say, okay, this guy or gal interrupts my life this way, and I don't like it because... Why?
Because I don't know. Because it feels like it's constant, and it's like always there, and it's like interrupting what I'm doing.
Okay. Every single one of those people are interrupting you to some extent, correct?
Right.
Would there be any situation that you would welcome?
Yeah, if I was genuinely in the market for something, yeah, I would welcome it. This constant,
bravo. You arrived, okay?
Right.
As long as there's
Right.
context that's appropriate, we welcome the help, don't we?
Right.
I've been thinking about getting a different car for about 6 months. And online, all I wanted was to do my research, and as I began to ask questions online, it's because I did not want to talk to the person yet. I wanted some information. I wanted to be educated. I want to know some of the details. But everybody wants to give you the bum's rush to buy. It's just us in
Right.
our approach. We are not willing to take the time to first identify and take a beat. Are there people out there that are giving us context? Okay. Yes. And in the context of this call, Anita has asked me to be very specific. She is going to prime the pump with internet-based leads that will come presumably from Google AdWords, Facebook, etc. They are internet buyer leads for the most part, okay? So we have to just take a beat, and rather than just globally say, I'm worried about rejection. Why? Because you would be contextually irrelevant in their life. That's the number one reason for rejection on the phone or in a sales opportunity. They are not contextually interested in buying or selling real estate. That's it. So your first job is not to win some sale, especially on people that we begin our discussion on the internet. Are you tracking me here?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's all about the context, and you don't know the context if you are rushing them. You don't. I don't. I'd go right at Anita. If Anita thinks she's going to pick up the phone and she's going to call an internet-based lead and she's somehow going to miraculously change their context if they don't have it yet, she's wrong. I'm wrong. It doesn't matter how good the salesperson is on the phone, because that's the context we're talking about. You are not going to change somebody's context. However, you can immediately be extremely helpful if you become adept at rooting out context quickly. So that very, very first call that we fear so much is oftentimes because we're trying to become so darn scripted to get what we want, we're forgetting that we have a brain, and we're following this routine that anytime a human who does not want to be sold and has been conditioned like you and I and the rest of the world, that, here comes a sales pitch. Here comes somebody that I don't know who they are. Here comes somebody I have no idea why they think they have contacts with me. It's like a trigger that just goes off, boom, in a split second. And immediately they are turned off. And we get rejected. And then all of a sudden, our emotions well up and we overreact to that rejection. We then have these things that we call cognitive distortions. So in cognitive behavioral therapy, there's a whole list of distortions. So we over-exaggerate, or we, I'm trying to remember, overgeneralize. There's a whole bunch of them. They're on a list behind me. I'll get them in a second. But the point is, our emotions well up. It's me. This business isn't for me. I should have stayed in banking. I should go back to my other job. We just absolutely do it. We just go overboard with our reaction to it instead of going logically. Why couldn't I get that person to listen to what I had to say? Because my belief system tells me that I can be very helpful. I know I can be helpful. Okay? So there's the setup for this. Now, we know at the internet, just like me and my car example, that many of the internet-based leads are really early on in the process. I've always said this. If you and I are interested in trying to buy something or take action on something, the minute it's a seedling of thought, the amazing thing about the internet is it's now on our phone, so the minute it's a thought, we can stop and interrupt what we're doing, go to that little white search bar, type it in, and get some information on it. Now, what's going to happen in this case is that very thing's going to happen. People are going to go to the internet looking for homes to buy in Monmouth, New Jersey. And one of those sites that is going to come up is Anita's. And in that moment where it may be a very seedling of thought, very super early on, there is somebody who's willing to say, sure, I want access. This is what I want. Let me give them their information, right? It may or may not be, each time it comes in, somebody who is serious now, which would be more the cream, right? That would be the cherry on top. But the rest of it needs to be sifted and sorted to gauge level of interest and timing. You with me?
Yes.
And I'm giving you this narrative because all of us need a new narrative so we remember what we're doing in that first phone call, especially that we fear so much. And we do fear it. We do. Everybody does. Because we're afraid of not getting what we want and probably really need. We need some prospects who become clients. That's the business. So we're so emotionally keyed up, that's where we're at, okay? Anita, I'm going to take a pause there and see if you want to add anything to that.
No, I agree completely with what you said, and thank you for pausing. I appreciate that.
Yep, sure.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of leads will be people, what I explained to them, we think in Infusionsoft is moving them up from a lead to a prospect. Now, Sue, by the way, has been doing real estate for 13 years, so she's very seasoned. But, certainly I would love for her to see how we operate as a team, and she'll have her own approach, and we can incorporate the best way to have these leads come to fruition.
Yeah, one of the things, hold on, I'm going to stop.
So
Let me stop you for a second. One of the things, somebody asked me, Chris Gurney and I were talking yesterday. He's a great guy, very aggressive. And he asked me what he needed from me. And I would need the same thing, to give somebody the same thing to help me. I don't care if somebody has 2 days of experience or 15 years. We have to be careful of intellectual insecurity. And I'm not saying you, Susanna, myself, any of us are obnoxiously in that place. We wouldn't be on this phone call. I would dismiss that. I would dismiss that because I do. I would dismiss that you have 13 years of experience doing anything. Because what's very real is the way the call started. She fears, and thank you, Susanna, for stepping up. You said it right away. I fear rejection. That's somebody who's got 13 years of experience and also already does another job in sales.
Danny?
Yeah.
Oh, Danny, sorry to interrupt. I have Sue and Susanna. Sue has the experience.
Sue, sorry.
Susanna is the one talking to. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm talking to Susanna, and Sue has the experience. I got all confused here. Lots of Sues.
Yeah. We kind of figured you did.
Yeah,
So.
all good. Well, ladies, in general, let's take the whole team, Anita. I don't care if it's you and I talking. We are emotional beings. And the reason for the narrative is to reroute, especially women who I think do this better naturally than men on average. And that's be there, prepared and ready to nurture and help, regardless of where that person is. And if we can lead in with that logical thought, the rejection or the no, because in logic, it's more, yes, I'm interested. No, I'm not. If we're able to just take all the emotion out of it, I don't even think we use a long Latin-based word like rejection. I think what we do is it's yes or no. That's the difference between emotional words and logical words. So somebody that can approach it with less fear or I don't know, whatever you want to say, more logic. There's a lot of people that are very, I got to be careful how I say this, OCD, and it's just yes or no, yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. It's a process to them. Whereas the high I's are more like, geez, what a connection. That was great. Can't wait to follow up 6 months from now. So we have to be careful and bring in a little bit of both. The emotionals tend to be more naturally empathetic, so they can connect there very quickly. They can hear tone and all that. And the very non-emotionals, very logicals, can come in and just find out yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. Somewhere in the middle is that balance. So what I would say is, like, I'm not going to pull the punch with your team and patronize anybody. And I want to make that clear to everybody in this phone call. I want the truth for myself, for my team, and you guys. Fear is real, rookie or not. So defer to what you all already do and don't need a script for. You're all very good listeners. Naturally, because in a give and take world, we're always listening. Life is a tennis match. We're back and forth, back and forth. So we just need a couple of provocative questions right off the bat, a statement of introduction and a provocative question, and then listening. And that will allow us to go logical. Is there an opportunity to go further right now or not? I can't believe how many of us are good listeners but blow right through the stop signs. It happened to me on the phone the other day. There's a car dealership here, and they're very efficient, okay? Very efficient. And she just wouldn't stop asking me the damn scripted questions, and it was beginning to piss me off, okay? So I think that's really where we want to pay attention, is to say, listen, is this being well met or not? So Anida, here we go, right? I'm going to call you, and I'm just going to try to hit a couple of first beats. Hello, is Anida there?
Okay. Yeah, this is Anida.
Anida, it's Danny Griffin calling, and I saw that you were on my website and came in and were looking at some properties. I just want to call and make sure that you knew we were here in case it wasn't working correctly. Are you getting everything that you need?
Yep, thank you.
Okay, great. Anida, just so I don't want to be a problem for you, and I want to let you enjoy the site, but just so I know, is this something that you were just looking at online, or is it something that you're seriously considering doing in the next 3 to 6 months?
I was just browsing.
Okay, super. So what I would say is enjoy it. It's a really good site. It's pretty efficient. If you'd like more information, though, at any point in time, let me know, because what you're doing on that site is getting MLS information that's syndicated out to the web. If you'd like to get more details, we have an upgrade opportunity for you where we could put you directly into MLS so that you can get more detail, and as soon as something comes on, it would get to you. Does that sound like it's something you want now, or maybe you'd consider later?
Oh, what the heck? Yeah, maybe you could send it now.
Okay, great. See what I'm saying? It says there was a couple of questions there that even though if you wanted to reject me, I'm just trying to be helpful. And to I'm going to say Susanna or Sue. Who was I talking to again?
Susanna.
Susanna, see what I mean? It's more so about confronting the fact immediately that I might be being a pest. But I need a conclusion.
Right.
I need a conclusion. I'm saying, Anida, I don't want to be a problem or a pest. So in order to follow up with you appropriately or just leave you alone using the site, when do you think it might do something? And by the way, I don't know if you know this, I can give you more detailed information if you'd like that. So now the fact that she says yes, what does that tell you, Susanna? The fact that she said, what the heck? What's it tell you?
Right, because then she is interested.
You got it. You got it.
Yep.
You got it by listening to that reaction. But I was able to say, I can even do better. You know, there's more that I can give you. I can upgrade my service if that would be interesting. Now, if she says no, well, then maybe she really is just, looking. Right? So now I let it bake.
Right.
So now I can just put it back in Infusionsoft and say, she sounds like she needs at least 2 weeks, probably more like 30 days. Let's just let it bake. Check back in. Say, hey, you've been on the site for 30 days.
Do you want to listen to this?
Oop, hello. So that's what I'm saying, is that as I'm upgrading that conversation by giving more at a deeper level, I get a chance to listen to her reaction. See, if it sounds like this, hey, Susanna, it's Danny Griffin calling from Griffin Realty Group. The reason I'm calling is because I saw that you came onto our website, and I just wanted to make sure it was working. Hey, by the way, were you going to make a move in the next 3 to 6 months? If you are, maybe we could get together. We could take you see what I'm saying? There's so many different scripts over the years that have been taught. But what I feel is they end up running down the hill. And I'm asking myself, where's the conversation in there? Where's the humanity in there? See, I think rejection comes because it's one-sided and it's a panic attack. Uh-oh, I'm going to get rejected. And that's why I went through all that at the beginning of the call. If the thought is, I am a pest, and that's not a good thing, I have that even subconsciously. But if I say, I am not a pest, this lady came into our world, and she needs help if she's ready for it. If she's not, she needs to bake. That's it. It's such a different paradigm when we can look at it that way. And I think the hardest part is we have to deal from a position of plenty. And Anida is going to prove that to you. There's plenty of names. I won't even call them leads because I don't even know what that is anymore. There's so many inquiries that happen. They're names of people that may or may not need help. I think if you have that narrative, the conversation, the first one, gets easier. So now, now, Susanna, you call me and we'll go very slowly. We'll go warp speed slow, okay? Go.
Hi, Danny. This is Susanna calling from Nida Terraport Realty Group. How are you today?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
I just noticed that you logged into our website and wanted some information on your home evaluation. I just wanted to make sure, is everything going okay?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay. Did you have any questions or concerns or anything that you're noticing, or is it everything meeting your standards? I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's okay. But see, this is why you fall forward, because see, what you're trying to do is be scripted. So now I want you to be Susanna.
Right.
We're going to take it right from the top. I don't want you to try to copy a thing that either of us has ever taught you or you're aware of, okay? I want you to be Susanna, and I want you to have a conversation with me, and I'm going to anchor you to start the call, and I'm going to change your state. Are you a sister, a mother, a daughter? Are you any of those things in real life?
I'm all of those.
Okay. All right. Mommy, how many kids?
3.
Okay. How old?
15, 12, and 9.
Oh, you're in the thick of it.
Girls.
Yep, beautiful. I had 3 of those first and then twin boys. So you're in the thick of it, and you're going to think of one of them who right now needs the most TLC from you. Here we go. I'm her on the other end of the line. Hello?
You want me to say her name or
No,
act like your
no.
name?
Your thought, I'm anchoring you on her. I want you to think about her when you're talking to me, okay? Hello?
Okay. Hi, is this Danny Griffin?
It is, speaking.
Hi, Danny. My name is Suzanne. I'm calling from Oneida Terrapure Realty Group. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
So I noticed you logged into our website and you're looking for a home evaluation. I'm just calling to follow up and see if everything's okay. And are you looking to sell your home in the next 3 to 6 months?
Freaking fabulous. Stop. I'm done with you. That was just, see, it is so subtle to maybe somebody else, but to me, it screamed like you were talking to her. I'm just calling to see if you're okay. I heard it. I'm just telling you, you go back and listen to the recording, you're going to notice a dramatically different person. It's super subtle, but in human communication over a phone, I felt it. It went through me differently than what you were doing before. Okay? And I'm just telling you.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, go ahead. Come on.
no, that's good. Yeah, I guess I'm glad I didn't cry.
Yeah. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? See how empathetic and quickly you can get there in your state? Tony Robbins talks about this. It's about changing your state before we go into these situations. We're always rushing. Why are we in such a hurry? So there's that very real raw emotion attached to that real empathetic love you have for your own children, and you bring it to a phone call. Why is that corny? Right? Why is that corny?
Right.
It's not. It's really who you are. And the minute you stop being really who you are, I don't know you, but I can sense it. That's what we say when we say, I don't want to be that salesperson. Then don't be. Don't be that salesperson. Be the human being that has that bone of empathy. Everybody in this country knows, if they have a TV or they're online, what just happened in Florida. Everybody. And it connects us to that emotional moment, that emotional place, and brings us all together quickly. But yet, as soon as that becomes old news, we atrophy and we move back into this distant place, right? Everybody's talking about, for example, and I don't want to mean to go off on a huge tangent, but everybody's talking about gun control. Why aren't they talking about better engagement with human beings? Kids being nicer to kids, right? Human beings leaning in and saying, this kid's in an emergency. You follow me? Like, these human beings that are thinking about buying or selling a property are about to go into a very serious transaction that has everything to do with their entire life, unless you're in the business of just doing raw business for another company or an investor. But even the investor's a human being trying to make a living doing this, right? These are real people, and we're losing the humanity in a scripted performance because we're losing ourselves. Does that help?
No, it does. Yeah, it's more about having like a conversation than I'm trying to pitch something to you.
You got it. That's exactly why we get rejected. Don't pitch me. And you know what? And it's even, you can even go, see, it's also like, now let's take you out to the mentality of, what if you were a nurse? I always use this analogy. It's a little bit strange, but I use it. Let's say that you're sitting in your backyard and a small plane crashes in your backyard, and all these people that are injured are strewn across the backyard, and you're a nurse, you run back in the house, you grab your nurse's, package, and you run over to the first big burly guy with a beard, and he's got a broken leg, and he's screaming in pain, and you go over and you say, hey, I want to help you. And he says, screw you, lady, can't you see I just fell out of the sky? Do you turn around and run back in the house? Of course not.
No.
Of course not. You go to the next person and the next person, and you keep going until you find the one who's willing to accept your nurse's aid. There's no difference in this business if we will just get new perspective. We need a new self-image through which we see this. Our current self-image through which we see it is tainted by the poor performance of other people who have done it to us. Right?
Right.
So once,
No, you're right.
You see what I'm saying? Once they've done it to us, our lens gets dirty. Oh my gosh, this is what sales are. No, it's not. That's why sales training with all these heavy scripts and this corny language just drives me bananas. Do we talk to each other like that at our most serious and intimate moments? Of course not. It's absurd. You want to get somebody to really feel your love? You don't talk like that to them, ever. So show the love in sales. What's wrong with that? And then it's not so much rejection because you become detached from the real rigmarole of trying to win. I got to win. You don't need that. You win by magnetizing through loving these people and saying, look, I have the privilege of a real estate license, and I'm going to show you some love here. I'm going to show you that if you'll listen to me, I can refine your criteria and make this process a lot better. So when I lean in and I help you with that, you may or may not want it. Do you want it? No, absolutely not. My mother's a realtor. Oh, no problem. Good luck with her. If there's anything we can ever do, you can keep using the site. Feel free. Oh, thanks. It's so much better than her crappy site. Yeah, I know, but it's your daughter. Keep going. Use our site. It's okay. Now you just don't have to follow up, but you let them use the tool. You give. Now, like I know a mom of three girls. I know what it's like because I'm in my house. We do it. We give endlessly. Endlessly. It doesn't stop. In fact, I have no soul left. I gave it to them, right? So, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So my point is, yeah, exactly, right? And I'm saying this. I'm trying to dramatize it a wee bit for you, Susanna, and the rest of the team, because it is much more about like why you're with Anita. She is a fabulous woman. Period. Just ask her husband Percy. He'll tell you. She's a fabulous human being. She's driven. She cares wildly about every one of you on her team. She wants desperately for it to work out with you out of love. Not that she needs your deal. You have a human being running your team. That's why you came back, or somebody came back to her. That's why. Because when we go out into the world, these people are hard to find. So now, in that image and in that culture, give until it hurts. And I'll guarantee you, you will have a tough time telling me it didn't work. And you can come back and beat me up anytime. It's beat the crap out of the coach Fridays. That's what we call this, right? Because I'm so confident that love wins the day. If you feel it on your heart when you pick up the phone, you cannot be rejected when that love for that other human being on the other side is unconditional. You can't. You can't. You just can't. Try it. Try to get in a state where you're so strong about how you're offering love and caring in the technical aspect of helping the home eval. Okay? Home eval, ugly words, right? I'm going to evaluate your home. I'm going to care for you and really try to guide you so that you can be empowered with information about the value of your home, so that empowers you to make a decision whether or not you should move, what you'll walk away with. Like, you see the difference? Starting points are everything, right? Go ahead. Questions about that? All of you, any of you, Anita's team or anybody else want to weigh in on that?
Danny?
Yes.
It's Terry.
Terry!
I know.
Go ahead, T.
Me with the four boys.
You got it. You got it.
The other thing that because I used to be the exact same way, it stressed me out. I had so much anxiety about it, and you and I had a conversation, and, you basically were like, you're not listening, and I wasn't. And then when we dropped back and took the complete different approach as to, okay, they're clearly saying, by being that way, that they're not ready, then we've changed everything, and it's gotten so much better, especially where now I'm educating them on what the website is designed to do. And so I've got them to give me just the basics so that we don't inundate them and annoy the crap out of them. And then that gives me the time to build the relationship because they weren't ready to build that on that first call.
Right. Why should they be? It's an introduction. Hi, my name is Danny. Yours is? Terry. Oh, nice to meet you. And then where are you from, Terry? Right? What do you do? I mean, that's the way we actually talk to each other when we interact kinesthetically. Are we really surprised when you hit the car dealership floor, when somebody picks up the phone to call you? Are we really surprised that people are standoffish and then we call it rejection and then we personalize it? Why is that such a surprise to us when that's not the way we behave elsewhere, right, Terry? I mean, I'm only trying to master the obvious. I'm not trying to go deep into this. This is the obvious way to say it. But nobody has the spine in sales training to put it on the table and say, did you care for that human being? Or did you just jump all over them like a new puppy, right? I want. That's what it sounds like to us. And that's why we're jaded. All right, let's go on to the next thing. Anita, you want to carry this again to something else? You want to go deeper into this? Did we leave anything undone with that conversation?
I think we can give other teams a chance to weigh in, I guess.
Okay.
Let someone else have some questions.
All right.
We jump in next week again.
Yeah, cool. Let me add. There was another beat that I wanted to hit here. Alan, I see that you might want to jump in here too, so feel free to do so if you do. Because yesterday on the mastermind call, it was really, really interesting talking about there's a formula. Here's the next thing I wanted to cover here. It's how do you tell a story is really important, okay? And behind me on the board here, there's a formula for telling a story. So let's go beyond the starting point and how we have to be in this state of this love and giving so we magnetize it and we don't over pursue and chase everybody away. You want to magnetize this by being empathetic, listening. Is it really contextually now, later, or never? And being accepting of that. Stop fighting it. Now, okay, great. Let's go to the case where they say, yes, I have some interest in doing this, right? I do. So now I'm going to pull this off my board behind me. But now there's a formula that great storytellers are aware of, and you are too. If you consider, oh, hang on, guys. Someone's got a hot mic there. Sorry. I just had to take care of it. If you consider a play, you think about the play. There's a mistake in the way that we interpret it sometimes. And there's a guy by the name of Dave Miller who has a site called storybrand.com. I would suggest you go there and there's a free download there. It's worth getting. And in front of me, I have it. And I really like this as a guy who once upon a time in high school, believe it or not, I know you'll all be shocked by this, that I was the president of my drama club, right? So a character enters the stage and the lights come on and we're introduced to the character's problem or challenge. Something happens there. And then after that's been stated and the stage is set, quote unquote, in comes the next person who is the protagonist. The antagonist who comes in our case, as we just stated, as a guide. We have a character who is, by the way, the hero of the story. That's the real problem here. They are the hero of the story, but yet we're always treating the story as if here we come, second into the stage, and we're the hero. It's always about us. No, I'm the hero. I'm Wonder Woman. I'm Superman. And that's the problem, I think, here, is that if we can think about the way that this story or this interaction should happen, I think that also helps you not feel so much pressure from being scripted. So in comes the character. They have a problem. I'm going to give you clear context on this one. An expired is a character with a very clear problem and extremely clear context for us. So think about all the internet leads, which are more challenging because it's early on for home evaluation. It's early on for maybe I'll buy. But now we have this, we've moved up the ladder of clearer context for sale by owners, probates, expireds. Those are examples. Open house buyers who are seriously looking. We have more right now context of opportunity. So now how we approach any one of those people is even a better example of how you have a chance to get overly excited. Oh, I see that you expired. When are you going to hire the right realtor? Because I'm the right realtor. I'm the one that has the right plan. We just get over exuberant with all these scripts and we attack almost. And prospects pursued run away. I'll guarantee you that on average. But instead, oh, that's interesting. Sounds like something didn't go right. What do you think happened? Because they're the hero. We want the hero to further articulate the problem. So they call it agitating the pain. I don't like that in the context of love in this situation. So what I would say is, look, geez, that's tough. You were on for 6 months. Did anything happen that was good? No. Now they go further and they really express the problem. And we listen for deeper context. And we listen for that thing. Yes, I don't think the other realtor marketed it. Really, what did they do? Oh, I don't know. They never did an open house. Oh, that is certainly one thing that could happen. I take it was on MLS? Yes. Did they have professional photography taken? No. So I'm getting context by now going back and forth as the guide. I'm introducing myself as the guide. And the first thing that I'm guiding them on is their own context because they're a ball of emotions. They're throwing up all this stuff. So I'm trying to clarify where we're at with them. Okay? You guys follow me? Somebody jump in here with me. Alan, come in the hot seat with me.
I'm mobile, so...
Yeah, all good, brother. Yeah, I don't... When you echo, I like it. Doesn't matter. You're the hero of yesterday's call. So Alan, before I go further on that... Before I go further on that, let's segue this into selling agents to join, Berkshire Hathaway, where you are now. Let's talk about that. That's a challenge there too, isn't it? It doesn't matter the context. So speak to that. How does the agent become the hero? What did you learn this week when we were talking that was different? Because you saw this very same formula as a recruiter too.
They want to know how you're going to get them leads that make them money, and basically they want to guarantee that they can make, X number of dollars a year.
And their problem then is stated clearly as what? What's their problem, would you say?
Well, they don't know what their problem is.
There you go.
It's like a buyer or seller.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, Susanna, did you hear that one? Team Terraport, did you hear that one? I don't know if we lost them.
They really don't know.
Yep.
And I see this having, now that I'm in not only still selling, working with sellers, working with buyers, but also trying to get agents. It is an across the board. You ask them, Danny, what, if I say, Danny, what is important to you? And I went out on a listing presentation the other day. I said, Mallory, what is important to you in this process? And she looked at her husband and they shrugged, I don't know.
Yeah.
And they had no clue. And
Yeah.
So do you have a fear about this process that we're about to enter into? Well, I hadn't really thought about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess we want to get, and then, they kind of said, I think we want to get top dollar. And I said, absolutely. And then we don't want it to drag out. We don't want it to get stale.
Yeah.
And then they'll say, because my mother's house, when she put it on the market, they priced it too high, and then they keep doing price reductions, and I think because it got stale, they got less than they would have. So all of a sudden, they just bomb it out, all this stuff.
Yeah, right.
But
so
agents are the same way.
Right. So Alan,
well, we talked to KW, and KW told us, that their average agent earns $49,000.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, so then that lets me know what their perspective was. KW told them their average agent at this office made $49,000 their first year.
Yeah.
That brought up the ability, to say, okay, but that meant that some didn't and some did more. That's
Yeah.
not a guarantee, though.
Yeah. All right. So Alan, what I want to capture here is the preparation to tell the story, whether we're talking to a buyer, a seller, or we're recruiting an agent. Right? So I think that's the deal here, is that what we want to do is say, all right, look, at the TRC, what I'm trying to prepare you all for is the story to be told. So the next level of training, and you can never really get in that deep on a sales training call, but at TRC, any of you listening in here that are members of TRC or team members, we have the 3 courses that are your cheat sheets. And in fact, it's more than your cheat sheet. It is what makes you unique. It is a clear plan for these people. And so let's go back and pull this all together so far, and I'll show you why I asked Alan to jump in on recruiting, so I could set it up that if you think about this business, now some of you may have nothing to do with recruiting, and you're like, well, I don't need to talk about that. No, but understand that the concept of plan and story, okay, we need to tell the story of our unique plan, or we are unique because we follow plans, however you want to say it. So let's go back to this. Enter the character with the problem. Buyer has a problem that they may or may not be able to articulate. Same for seller, same for agent. They may or may not be able to articulate it at all. I have said to sellers many times when I sat down, what are you worried about in this process? And they look like a deer in the headlights. We have no idea, because they have zero understanding how it is, and they don't even have a bias or a prejudice. That happens too. So there's the extreme, and so your initial job, I think, is to root out what they perceive to be their problem. And you do that by asking simple, empathetic, provocative questions that say, hey, looks like your context is you expired. What do you think went wrong? And boom, they bring it out. Now, my point is, the more you understand the universal plans that I've put together for you all to follow, they are the universal ways that a buyer goes through a process, a seller goes through the process, and an agent. It's not, I mean, it's proprietary to the extent that I've put the right information, the right order, I believe, and so that you can go there. But it's a universal expression. It's mastering the obvious. We're always trying to get so worked up that we're supposed to know this esoteric information. No, in anything, sports, business, whatever, you're supposed to know how the basics of the business work. That's your plan that you're offering. I would like you to do business with me because I offer you a plan that can empower you to make a good decision. So I'm going to be your guide. See, here we go. We enter, and I'm going to be your guide. That's what I'm going to do. Oops. Hang on, guys. Tell those guys, will you tell them somewhere, someone that's on Facebook, I just got cut off from Skype. Let me get back in there. Hang on. Hang on, guys. Somebody in Skype, just tell them I'm coming back in there, okay? Let's see. I'm trying to come back in there. All right, one more time. The hazards of Skype. Here we go. Bear with me, everybody. Just tell those guys I'm coming right back in there. Got cut off.
Welcome to the conference. Please enter the conference ID.
There we
Thank
go.
you. Moderator ID accepted. All guests are currently unmuted. To mute all guests, press pound. For help with host options, press *0. You will now be connected with the conference.
All right, sorry about that, guys. So to restate this, we have 3 plans. That's all you have to remember. And they're very clear and simple. But the first thing is to connect on an empathetic basis to figure out that context, right? So, Alan, my point to you is that once they express it or not, let's just go to one extreme. I have no idea, Alan. I'm brand new to the industry. I don't even know what to expect. Well, great. Here's what you can expect. On average, in the Cape Cod MLS, the average agent did 3 deals in 2017 for a total of $1.5 million in sales. Okay? Now, anywhere from 2.5 apples to 3 apples is a reasonable expectation of what the rate is, and here's the split with the company. So if that's what you endeavor to be is average, that's what you would need to do. Now, if you want to be above average, good news for you is I have a plan for you. So we're very confident that we can help you get up and going to a run rate of at least one every other month, which is double the average, and possibly even more depending on how much time you want to get there. So here's the plan. I'm going to give it to you so that you can consider it, so that if you do join us, you understand what I'll be teaching you how to do. Here's what to do, and then when you join me, I will guide you on how to do it. So I think, Alan, that's the extreme when they have nothing in their brain and they're worried. Well, I'm game, I'm ready, but what do I do? So they have that sort of blank moment.
That's a good point.
Yep.
That's a good point, because his question was, what is your system that I plug into? How do you generate? How am I going to get leads? How am I going to build my book of prospective buyers and sellers?
Right. And that's what they all say, because they're eager and they understand I need prospects that I can convert to clients. Intuitively, anybody joining this business understands that, and that's their number one fear. We can even be proactive and say, look, the number one fear of a new agent is how the heck does the thing work, right? Well, here, what I want you to do is I want you to go through this basic plan so you understand the framework of the business. So for the agent course, without getting really into it, number one, to recognize that they are coming in any situation as a business owner, whether they're a team member, whether they're, whatever context. You're an independent contractor. You're responsible for your own business. I'm here to guide you. In my case, as Griffin Realty Group owner, I have a plan, and I train all my folks every week in that plan, and we go deeper and deeper and deeper to make sure that they're learning at the speed that they want to and can learn. So, but what about the person who's been in the business and been sort of doing well but is struggling? What about the person that comes to TRC and does hundreds of thousands of dollars, but they know something's wrong? What do you do with them? Same thing. What do you perceive your problem is? Well, I think this is really dialed in, but I'm definitely missing this. Oh, you're definitely missing that, because we all are. Right? And so, Alan, that's how we really dive in, even if they're already producing. Because then we say, look, it's the same thing I would have told a rookie. It's a business. You need to have strategic marketing that leads to strategic conversion. Those are the first three beats I'm going to hit you with. Well, what's different from that in the already going producer? Yeah, you're doing a great job on muscle. Amazing that you even got this far. You're doing $300,000 a year. Fabulous. But you know something's missing. What you're actually missing are the details of a conversion system similar to the one I built in Infusionsoft, and I'd be happy to share that with you, right? In fact, right after this call, I'm doing a demo of that very system for somebody who does extremely well, because they know they're stuck for some reason. So see, Alan, if somebody can articulate it, I'm still going back to the very same basic plan, because it's the universal truth about the order of things. That make sense?
Yeah.
But now it's individualized.
I appreciate that.
Well, now it's individualized because everybody wants to feel special, and they are special. And I mean that, right? They are. The rookie's as special as the veteran, right? But they don't want to, well, don't teach me that. That's one of the things I was just warning about earlier, in the call. I need open-mindedness from myself, and I need it from all of you, so that we're pursuing truth. And we're not saying, look, there's not a thing that we all do right now today that doesn't need advancement. If you think you already are completely dialed in on anything, you are cruising for a whooping from life. You have to always be that learner every day that you come into your business. And that's why the concept that Gerber has of working on it, we pursue that. We're always saying, what don't I know about marketing that improves the person that arrives on the phone with me? All we want to do is jam more volume down the pipe, and we never sit and say, is this the kind of lead I really want? So I think, Alan, it's that moment of saying, where are you at? Where are you starting in this conversation? What do you think your problem is? And then our job as the guide is saying, look, I have a plan for that. Let me dive in here. If you'll be open-minded for a minute, let me dive in with you, and I'll express to you what I think I could help you with, right? And I think that gives you that base for any conversation. Does that help?
Yeah, I think, it's a whole new learning process. So, but yeah, I appreciate that.
Well, use it as a buoy. Think about 3 buoys floating in your world. We have Alan's book of business where when that luxury seller in East Dallas now comes to you, you have this seller course. When the luxury buyer comes to you, you have this course, right? And they should always be at your disposal like business cards. Immediately to make that introduction and to change that relationship, those courses are given and they stand as the framework for relationship building. Now just add the agent course, 3 booklets lined up in your desk, stare at them and put a stack of business cards right behind them and say, these are the things that I pass across to warm up the opportunity to have a discussion. And I'm confident and know, since they're all there and universal, that there's really not a challenge, a question, or a problem that I'm not going to be able to point to something in this plan and gain context. Because if you confuse, you lose, says David Miller on his website. If you confuse, you lose. And when we get enthusiastic and emotional and we tend to throw up all over people, even if they like us, we've confused them and they don't make a decision on our behalf. You ever had one of those, Alan, where all of a sudden you're like, I cannot believe that guy cheated on me and bought with somebody else. I cannot believe it. Somewhere along the line, we confused them.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I remember that from Proctor. I mean, if people, one, prospects pursued, run away. The other one is, if, if they're not clear about a choice of action, people are overwhelmed with that, then what do? They do nothing.
Right. For sure.
And they wait and do something with somebody that's made it clear for them.
That's right. You got it. All right, buddy. That's that subject. Okay, final call for questions here. We got a few more minutes left. Speak up. Let's hear it. Let me hear from some. I'm trying to see who has a. Kleba, you have your team out there. Turners, you're out there. I don't know if that's Marcus. Who we have out there? Jamie, you're out there. Hi, Chris. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, Danny, just real quick, might be a really stupid question, but as I see this mastermind group slowly transforming into like a luxury mastermind group, so to speak. That's the right word. Are you
go ahead.
Deploying the same conversations and the same approach with luxury and just regular run-of-the-mill stuff?
That's a really good question. A really good question. First of all, let me give better context. No, I don't think that this mastermind group is morphing into anything in particular. But yes, you better believe I'm making you all focused on money too, as business owners. We can help the world. You just understand that the lower the average sale price, the more transactions you'll have to do to reach your financial goal. And you are all really important to me. So I'm not going to stop moving you all in a direction of at least awareness that I want your average sale to be at or above whenever possible what goes on. Now, having said that, we've talked a lot about empathy and helping human beings. I think you should all help the humans you want to help. So there's a better context for what I'm doing by making sure that there's no self-image problem when it comes to luxury. Now, having said that, do I believe that in my experience, people at luxury have some different expectations? Yes. Unequivocally, yes. I think it has a lot to do, not with the human beings. We found, quite frankly, that a lot of human beings that had luxury properties were far easier to talk to about our professional approach. Much easier. So I'll leave that at that. I'm not going to make any kind of comment that might come across as prejudiced towards one group of people versus the next, because it's not. It's just that at luxury, people really like to plan, is my experience. And at entry level or distress sale especially, it is highly driven by emotion. And I think my ability to control my clients, help them control their emotions is a better way to say it. That's a big difference in a starting point in some of the cases. Now, when it comes to defining expectations for why you at a luxury sale, let's go into Lake Norman and say it's a waterfront and you have a lot of professional athletes in the car racing industry. I think, Chris, to that extent, you better have the chops to back up what you say and what promise you make, because you and I both know that many people are going to default towards marketing. It's one of the biggest questions that people get. How are you going to market my property? Now, that's a perception thing, because we all know that the marketplace is very efficient, MLS, to the extent that if they'll listen to us on our pricing strategies, it'll go to that marketplace and it'll get at least seen by people that are serious in that price range because it's priced correctly. So I still think you have to go in and fight for your understanding of the plan, but there is a heavy emphasis, I find, on marketing and marketing capabilities and marketing reach and all this. You have to be prepared to discuss that at luxury. There's no doubt about it. The second thing would be, I think you'd run into a lot more resume. See, and that's why I said this is a fabulous question. I think a lot of you have this perception that you can't break into a higher price bracket, whatever that may be, because your self-image or your self-talk or the water cooler talk, I heard it all this week, is that, oh, there's already too many people established there and they've been doing it for 30 years. Well, how do you know their plan's any good? I mean, are they just going to intimidate the rest of you from ever trying to fight your way upstream? So I think a lot of us talk ourselves back into the middle of the pack. Not average in this group by any stretch, but backwards in the pack. So, see, the same things happen at luxury too to great agents. They overprice things and they expire. So now what? Enter the guide. Remember what I said? A luxury expired who went on perception of resume, perception of marketing. And now that didn't work because perception doesn't do this. A plan does. Enter a new guide. I've never heard of you at luxury before. That's right. You haven't. But I believe that I have a better plan than most people that have been established in this for quite some time. And I'd like an opportunity to introduce you to it. Now, all of a sudden, I've found that footing where I can at least step in. Now, if you come up with your plan and your plan looks like it's printed on, 2-bit paper, Chris, and you pull up in, something that has, missing hubcaps in it, yeah, man, you're going to get slaughtered. You got to walk the walk. I'm not saying, we were sort of laughing after the mastermind the other day. Cantu was pretty funny texting last night saying, you guys had me laughing about joining country clubs and driving BMWs and all this stuff. I'm not necessarily suggesting that at all that that's necessary as a first step. I am suggesting that I would spend some money and some time with me understanding what does have to look better as far as marketing is concerned, and how do you present yourself in that context. Does that make sense?
10-4, Danny.
Yeah. Any questions from you and the team? I don't know if you're alone today or you have the crew. You can challenge me on that. Like, what objections would you think you would get?
I wasn't going there. I was just, my question was more like, hey, these conversations that we're having, hey, this is Danny from the Griffin Realty Group. I'm just calling to check in and make sure that you got the shit that we sent you. Is it the same approach with luxury?
Yes.
As it is with the 400,000?
Yes, for sure. For sure, because one thing that's universal is where we started the call today is empathy. Somebody that owns a $2 million house is no less human than somebody that owns a $400,000 house. And we don't know. See, our perception is so heavy as realtors that already exist. It's so heavy. We have a perception of what some people thrive on entry level and distress because they love it. It's fulfilling to them. They love to go down into that, the pit where things are just crazy stressful and they feel fulfilled by helping somebody overcome. Quite frankly, I get that high. I love if somebody comes and looks for me, and I had one last year. I had a veteran whose house had burned down, and he was actually living still in the thing with no heat. That's how tough this kid was, right? I couldn't wait to help him. I couldn't wait to go into that pit where the sale was going to be difficult, and the same plan came in. as it did at 965 down on the water. It was no different. I was in there with the families, both of them, the same way. So you see what I'm saying? I didn't find the human beings to be any different at all. In fact, we just, one of my agents just put something under agreement for 2.6. That guy couldn't be any more down home than anybody in this town, right? I mean, just a super guy, a local attorney, and we went in with the plan. In that case, Chris, we did go in showing him. We asked, could we have the permission to come in with our professional photographers on our nickel? You don't have to choose us. Let us just go do the marketing first so that we can show you we have the chops. So my agent Steve walked in, opened up his laptop, showed Bernie what we had already done online, and he was wildly impressed. So yes, Chris, at that level, we weren't going to take any chances that somebody could undercut us on marketing. So I guess the humans were all the same. So the way we would talk to them would be the same. But when people have a big perception on luxury that marketing is different, even though it's not, we're going to lean in on that issue a little bit more based on our experience. Cool? Awesome. Good, great question. A really good one. Just want to make sure nobody thinks that I am teaching only luxury or moving only that way. I am teaching about what I know about human interaction in the context of real estate sales for sellers, buyers, and agents. So on that note, I'm going to wrap it up here. Good work, everybody. Thank you to Anita for kicking us off there. Thanks to the rest of you, Terry, Chris, and the rest of you for weighing in here. Go out and try this stuff. Let's see how it works, and bring me back the stories, and we'll go from there. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you being here.